am here, y'all. It's hot.
The Game of Thrones felt like survival. Literally, very much. Yeah.
So Emilia, I gotta ask, you've had this incredible range of characters, romantic comedies, fantasy, space westerns, time paradoxes. You know, for you in your role, you're now, you know, as much as you think they're kings and queens at the table, you have walked into, you're in the middle of the release of,
Yes.
your piece of the party.
Yes.
I mean, you're only 3 series in, and people are going to want me to ask this, I have to ask this, but I don't know if you're going to answer it.
Is that character? At this stage, I can't tell you anything. But I think the intention is to develop them at some point. Yeah.
And I love that. That's something we were able to explore a little bit in the Moon Knight series from Marvel, and I think it's something that, you know, I'd love to explore a little more. You know, 2 more questions for y'all, and we're going to get to fan questions because y'all asked a lot of questions. You mentioned that you played a lot of roles. You have been in a large amount of legacy franchises, right? Terminator, Star Wars, and you've done a lot of voiceover, and obviously you played the Sarah Connor. What does the ideal role look like for you?
Oh my goodness. The ideal role for me now is not what it was maybe before. I mean, I just wanted to do everything, clearly, and I had the incredible luck of being able to do so many different roles. But my characters need to have agency. I think that's something that I like to see through, a good arc within the kind of development of that character, kind of the discovery of self-agency being maybe one of them. But as I've gotten older, the single thing that I really try to align myself with is the filmmaker. Is like the thing you're walking into. What is your day-to-day experience going to be? Because life is too short to wake up and not want to go to work. You know what I mean?
I love it. So Kit, I also forgot to say congratulations. You now have 2 small children in your home.
Yeah, a boy and a girl. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. She's just beautiful.
She's a week old.
She's a week and a half old, and she's just. And my boy's doing really, really well with it. He's being a good big brother. He's, you know, it's as anyone who has kids, and especially multiple kids now, it's exhausting. Already, absolutely bone-crunchingly knackered. But filled with, it's all the oxymorons. It's like fear and joy. You know, it's all of those different feelings and all at the same time. It's amazing. I'm loving it. Rose is doing really well. We're very, very happy.
So, one of the things that I've noticed about your roles is they've all been strong, complex, sometimes dark characters, whether they're creative nonfiction or they are nonfiction, they are real, true-to-life characters. For you, what do you feel like is a role that you want to explore more once you get some sleep?
Yeah. At the moment, I'm sort of seemingly only interested in morally dubious characters. I think that comes from playing a completely morally perfect character for 10 years. To a fault, that was literally his weakness, was his morality. So at the moment, I'm responding to anything that is that darkness that you mentioned, but they're not just villain. I'm not just a villain. It's someone who is a complex mixture of mistakes and the kind of walls put up to kind of guard against those mistakes, and then ends up being this kind of sort of morally crippled person. If that makes sense, that's what.
You're looking for complexity.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some fan questions I'm going to get to before y'all get back to signing and taking photos. So, Ashley Nugent at Willow00094 from Atlanta, Georgia. What was your guys' favorite part about working with each other, and are there any plans to work together again? Y'all ask questions I don't have to ask. Thank you.
The best bit. I mean, it was because we were friends.
Yeah.
Before, like we hung out. We were buddies before we ever did anything on camera. I remember the first day when we shot on camera, and we just couldn't stop laughing. We were like, this is a bit weird. You're in your costume for.
It's so weird seeing you in costume.
Yeah, that was the strangest thing. I was like, I can't take it seriously.
Yeah.
It was a very serious scene. Yeah.
It was weird. I remember that distinctly. Like season 7, we'd spent 6 years as friends and friends off set, and like seeing each other only in costume, really on like photo shoots or on screen, and then suddenly stepping on as these two like characters that had somehow gone into this big show and become this big thing. I thought, like, this isn't like, we're just little Brits.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
But then I remember that
Literally
first...
little Brits, like it's
Yes.
little Brits.
Yeah. But then I remember one of the first scenes, we were stood in front of the fire, we were having a debate. It was before our characters had romantically been linked. And I remember being like, oh, this is nice. This is like, he's really good. And I know him. This is easy. This is really... And it just kind of... But I do remember the day, our sex scene day, and my brother was in the camera department that
Did you
day.
say your sexy day?
No, our sex scene. Sorry, yeah, our sex.
Oh no, I love it.
And my brother's in the camera department, and he was on set that day. And
Yeah.
it was literally like, mate, you got him out of here. He's not allowed to keep him busy. Yeah.
Oh, mortifying.
He's turning red.
All right, so we have Sari Moscato from Cleveland, Ohio. For both of you, other than a wolf or a dragon, if you yourself had an animal helper in real life, what species would each of you choose can be mythical?
Mythical.
Yeah, so unicorns are up for the take.
I always liked pandas. I did, always had little pandas. As a kid I had little pandas, so I've got a thing for pandas, so I think I'd have a panda.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Hey kid, hey panda.
We just have like a backyard full of, bamboo.
That's it.
And it gets to roam. I like it.
Yeah. They're wicked creatures. They're desperately trying to extinct themselves, which I kind of love.
They just don't want to have sex.
They don't want to have sex.
I feel like I have a spirit animal. I think he exists.
Okay.
His name is Ted.
Okay.
He's a little tiny miniature dachshund, and he's my baby. So yeah, genuinely, like the older that he gets, the more I'm like,
Yeah, we're the
you're my
same.
spirit animal.
Yeah,
We're legitimately the same thing. Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I have a golden doodle, and his name is Dumas, and it's the same thing. Right? Thank you. So, Andressa from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, for Kit. I would like to ask Kit if there's a role or a specific type of character he wants to play, or because I feel like you've answered the first one, what is the hardest part of being an actor?
I'll just go with that second one. The hardest part of being an actor is our heads. I don't think
They're too big.
They're too big. They're hard to carry around. I think every actor I know, that sort of beats themselves up in their head all the time. Like, I think that our job is to come out here and look really ultra confident, and like that we are, and that's our job on set, is to walk on set and convince you that we are completely confident in these characters. But we're a whole heaving mass of like anxiety and self-doubt and all of those things. And I think that when someone sort of says to me they want to be an actor, that's what I'm looking for in them, is like, are you a heaving mass of self-doubt? Because you're sort of, in the same way with the superheroes, battling against, not comparing actors to superheroes, maybe.
Yes, you are.
I am, I'm going to go for it. That they're fighting, their superpower is fighting against the thing. I think that's what you're battling against as an actor, is that you've always been socially self-conscious, and the way you found to deal with that is to step up on stage and speak, or to step in front of the camera, whatever you do. So I think the hardest thing about being an actor is that we're wrapped up in our own heads like crazy, and it drives us mad.
Well, the reason why we want to be other people is because we don't like ourselves, right? It's kind of like the universal theme in most actors. You find an actor who actually likes himself, and you're like, you're not really an actor.
Really?
Why on earth would you do this? This is very strange.
Yeah.
Why pretend to be someone else?
Exactly.
So, I love this name. Khaleesi.
Yes.
Kelly Clarke. She's going to correct me later. So it's actually, her name is Marcy Matano from Para, Brazil. My question is for Emilia. What most struck her about the character of Gaia to want to play her?
Oh my goodness. She just felt real. She just felt real in a very real, grounded show that kind of talked about things that, I mean, the joy of doing anything fantasy, the joy of reading any fantastical or like magic realism narrative is that it's a way of looking at bigger issues in the world, problems you face, philosophical ideas in its own space that allows us to see the problem for what it is and really digest it, because it's not, you're not reading about yourself. Does that make sense?
You're able to step into almost a parable.
Exactly that, and this show feels like that so much. And then also Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I mean? When I like that guy, I like the Samuel L. Jackson part of it.
I mean, yes.
Yes.
I don't know how anyone keeps a straight face on any of these sets. All right, so last question.
Yep.
Last question. Elena Collins from Houston, Texas. Gotta end with Texas. For both of you, how did your experience on a big production like Game of Thrones help prepare you for what to expect on a Marvel set? And also, what was different than what you expected?
I feel like, I don't know about you, but the films that I did in between this series of Game of Thrones, they'd be like, now this isn't TV, it's gonna feel really different. And I'm like, sure. And I'd get there and be like, guess what? Mine's bigger. It's actually like, we're shooting 10 of these films every single season.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. So I feel like it prepared, I don't know, this scale prepared me for pretty much every job I've ever done since.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my Marvel experience is not as long as Emilia's. It was a bit of a Marvel movie, but in that time on that Marvel movie, just experiencing quite what they were able to do, in as much as shut down Camden for a whole 2 nights or something.
Yes, because that scene was big.
Yeah.
And it had to take an army.
Yeah, and that was one of their 10 movies they were making at that time. That gave me an idea of the scale and scope of it. But I have to agree with Emilia. One thing that Thrones maybe in some ways it's a slight kind of curse, because we spent 10 years on a show that was as big as any movie I think I'll ever do. And it sort of gave me, in a strange way, a skewed experience of what movies and TV were, because there was nothing bigger than Thrones as far as set builds and the world they created, and it was genuinely humongous.
Like, try and think of, could you ever think of doing a movie that is anywhere close to being as big as Battle of the Bastards?
Yeah, or what they
That
built
was
in
like-
the final season, the
Oh my
set
God, yeah.
of King's Landing.
Yeah.
I've never seen a set like that,
No.
and I don't think there's anything. I haven't obviously been on loads of Marvel sets. I'm sure that they're just as big, but I can't imagine they'd be bigger than that set.
Marvel just have bigger movie stars.
That's what's the biggest difference. You're like,
big old movie stars.
fangirling every day. I love even the concept of you fangirling over another actor and just the reminder that, they're just human. And people love doing your jobs.
Oh, yeah. I didn't say anything other than my line to Samuel Jackson for the first 2 weeks because I was just too scared. He was like, "Oh, you're here to work." I was like, "What has to say?"
Makes you feel any better. I have no clue what I would say to Samuel Jackson.
I mean, you just gotta hug him. That's pretty much it.
I mean, yeah. I'm sure he did great.
He does.
All right, you have a lot of fans to meet today. I want to thank you so much for this incredible